This video is gonna be basically one, about valley fever, how I caught it, what I'm doing to treat it. The second is me running a marathon with valley fever. How many of you have actually heard of valley fever? Anybody? Anybody?
Beginning workout.
All right, I'm out here in the desert, getting a little run in. I'm gonna set up a light and we're gonna talk about some valley fever, baby. So valley fever, where the heck does it come from? It comes from actually, it comes from the dirt. It comes from the soil. Like the spores and everything are deep embedded in the soil. And it's like prominently contracted by people in the agriculture industry and construction because they're like tilling up the soil and spreading it and getting it in the air, and then people come around like me and suck it in.
Since being diagnosed with valley fever, I have not actually ever heard of it before. What the heck is valley fever? It is a fungal spore that literally I inhaled at some point and it got into my lungs, and it's just been it's been doing some damage. My wife is pretty certain that I got it from one of my recent trips that I went on back in November. Me and my boy Robbie, we went to Iowa and we were filming for a client who was building basically chicken houses for mass production of chickens and eggs and all the things that deal with chickens. It was like a Costco sized facility that was housing chickens. And
yeah, back here, not feeling the greatest. Feels like I got a fever, sore throat, and a slight cough. Not doing good, not feeling good. Not feeling good at all. Stupid.
Day 2 in the books.
Yeah. You're dying.
I don't know. Came on at like 1 o'clock this morning. I was super afraid to go to the hospital there in Iowa because I did not want to get stuck in Iowa. Gutted it out, and me and Robbie, we wrapped the shoot, we jumped on the plane, we flew back to Phoenix, and literally I went straight from the airport to the ER. I waited there for 8 hours, got an x-ray for them to come back and say that I had a bunch of fluid in my lungs. They gave me some steroids and said, you need to check in with your primary care provider. So I took the pack and the pain, kind of subsided. Leah's like, hey, did you make an appointment with your doctor? No, I really don't have time. Started developing these weird red swollen lumps on my legs, like all over the place. And the pain was starting to get a little bit more intense in my side, and I was super lethargic. Like I was just completely tired. So I was like, yeah, it's time. And then I got in with my doctor, and it took him about a couple weeks. We did some x-rays, we did some lab work, and he came back and said, dude, you got valley fever. In the midst of all this, I'm sitting here still trying to train for this marathon that I had coming in February. This was back in November, and it just derailed me. Like I literally could not run more than a mile and a half without just getting excruciating pain in my side. So how did I do on the marathon? I mean, my training was crap. Like it's been a rough year for training for me, to say the least.
5 days until the big day. Out here. Valley fever is kicking my ass today, boy. Having a difficult time breathing. It's kind of like breathing through a straw, but man, my lungs are heavy.
I was a little nervous to run a marathon. It's been like 8 or 9 years since I've actually competed in a marathon, and I actually told myself I would never, ever do another marathon again.
Alright. Halfway done. Halfway to go. And my lungs are on fire. Valley fever, you didn't get the best of me. But I'm hurting. You put up a good fight. Alright. We'll keep moving. 'Cause I can't remember what.
So anyway, I crossed the line. I finished. I did not DNF. I finished. I crossed the line. I ran a 3:56. I thought it was like a 3:59, but I thought I barely made it, but it was like 3:56 was my chip time. So yes, I did it. Valley Fever 0, Jason 1. Cool finisher's medal.
Oh, terrible idea.